Congressman Drew Ferguson from the House GOP Doctors Caucus, along with Dr. Amish Adalja, senior scholar at Johns Hopkins University Center for Health Security. It's great to have you both on. First to you, Congressman. The president today, people are worried. He indicated he didn't know what year it was. He said, quote, there's a lot of reasons you can be hopeful in 2020, and said, quote, you can control how big an impact Omicron is going to have on your health if you get Omicron. So there was that, right? People are looking for leadership and for inspiring messages. What did you think of the president's address today?
The word that comes to mind is incompetence. The president and his administration are a day late and a dollar short on this response. I think it is ridiculous that they passed a $1 trillion spending bill earlier last year, and only 9% of it went to COVID. They spent the rest of it on stuff not related to public health. And I think it's showing up right now. It's one of the reasons I voted against that bill, is we knew that this is exactly what would happen, is that it would fall short of meeting the needs of Americans. And the president can't make up his mind. Is there a federal response? Is there not a federal response? He says the states ought to lead on this, which I do agree with. And I don't think that there's a state in the nation that's doing a better job with it right now than our state here in Georgia, led by Governor Kemp.
No, you got a plug in there. Okay, we hear you about the spending, too. It's a great, interesting point you made about the 9% figure, Congressman. Doctor, where do you come down on this? Because we have health authorities, doctor, in Hong Kong, Japan, and Europe now saying peak COVID could be coming soon, and Danish authorities saying the Omicron variant could bring about the end of the pandemic, that we're going to have our normal lives back in 2 months. Where do you come down on that?
I think it's too early to know, but there are some encouraging signs from other countries that Omicron follows a different cycle, that it maybe peaks in a couple of weeks and it leaves a lot of immunity in its wake, and it's also something that's less severe. So the key thing, though, is getting through this acute phase and making sure those hospitals that are already under stress from Delta patients don't go over the edge. So if we can get through that by getting people vaccinated, getting antivirals, monoclonal antibodies, diagnostic tests to people, I think we will be in a better place as we get through this Omicron surge. And I think we'll know in the next couple of days to about a week where this trajectory is going to go with Omicron.
Yeah, to what the doctor is saying, we need more treatments, right? I mean, the president is saying he's going to double the purchases of Pfizer's antiviral oral pill. Congressman, you can't have 1 million new infections a day forever. We've got another study out of Hong Kong matching one out of South Africa that Omicron can provide immunity against other variants like the Delta variant. And Wall Street has been setting records. Investors believe peak COVID is close. What do you think?
Look, it looks like that we are getting close to the peak of this latest variant, and the president is coming out, and he is going to try to deliver everything to fight this variant, but it's going to be too late. And so the natural immunity that's going to occur with this is going to provide immunity for so many millions of Americans. And it is time to get back to work. Kids need to go back to school. Teachers need to get back to school. Americans need to get back to work. We're going to have to learn to live with this, and we got to focus on the therapeutics. In the meantime, encourage people to get vaccinated, get their boosters. It does have a profound effect on the illness. May not prevent you from getting it, but it's going to prevent you from going into the hospital.
Yeah, and a lot of these hospital workers, doctor, are suffering from PTSD. We really feel for them and what they're enduring. I mean, we do have a silver lining in the string of new studies coming out, doctor, that the numbers of severe cases and hospitalizations from Omicron have not risen. The WHO is saying it's seeing more and more studies of that. A lot of people are talking about the 1918 flu epidemic. It turned endemic in 1919. Deaths and infections dropped rapidly after 2 years. Is this how pandemics work? They go light on fire for 2-3 years and then they burn out? We saw that with the Asian flu pandemic, too. What do you think?
In general, that's usually what happens, that a pandemic virus has a population that it infects that has no immunity. So it can be very deadly in the first year or so. But afterwards, some people have died, some people have immunity, and you get things like vaccines and therapeutics. So it becomes tamer, and it becomes something more manageable, like other respiratory viruses we deal with year in and year out. That's where we're going with this virus. It's just taking a little bit longer because many people didn't get vaccinated, and it's still causing problems in hospitals. To me, the transition between pandemic and endemic is when we're not worried about hospital capacity in any of the 50 states. And some states have transitioned towards a more endemic version of this because their vaccination rates are have not.
That's a good point, right, Congressman, what the doctor just said, right? That we have to live with it like we're living with AIDS. I mean, unfortunately, that's what we're under right now. And it's about therapeutics. You're both making an important point. Governor DeSantis is saying the White House is rationing monoclonal antibody treatments. And the White House saying, no, we're not. We need to be fair to other states. We're not doing a stranglehold on the antibody treatments. Let's listen to Governor DeSantis. Congressman, I'd like your reaction to this. Watch.
Well, I think with the monoclonals, that is absolutely leading to people dying, because we saw when we put in our sites this summer in Florida to deal with the Delta wave, we kept tens of thousands of people out of the hospital. We saved thousands of lives by providing that treatment. So that should have been replicated in all these other states. But instead, what Biden and his cronies have done, they've seized control of all the monoclonal antibodies. So yes, when we were in the pinch, I bought some myself. None of the governors now are able to do that because the feds have seized control. So we're in a situation where we've now asked for 40,000 more every week because I have people that I could help, and they are holding on to it, and they're not distributing it.
He's saying, but the White House says it's giving them out to all the states. They need to hold on to the stockpile to be fair to all the states. What are you hearing, Congressman?
Hey, listen, why hold on to the stockpile? Get it to the Americans that need it, our most vulnerable, the ones that need to be protected. The Biden administration has no right to pick and choose winners and losers in life. This is not right. They've got to stop this, release the treatments to the states that need it the most, quit playing politics with Americans' lives.
Congressman Drew Ferguson, Dr. Amish Adalja, it's great to have you both on and get your perspective. Smart conversation there. We're really grateful for that. Good to